We get back to our work. That's the discussions and deliberations, connecting, networking, and growing with the collective knowledge, experience, expertise, views, suggestions, and recommendations of all present here. Now, yesterday we had some very informative sessions. We had the experts sharing the work which the various associations are doing. We have the global experts from various organizations and associations, how they can do a hand-holding with the Indian companies and helping them grow, sharing with them the best practices. And we also had sessions on various themes, which were again to give you more insights onto the expert views on that particular topic. So, as the stage is now set for our first session, this session is on getting real new perspective in the industry. So this session, ladies and gentlemen, entitled Getting Real New Perspective in the Industry, is going to be giving you insights into that. And I would like to first invite here the moderator of the session. Please join me, ladies and gentlemen, as I invite Dr. P.S.N. Rao, moderator of the session. Now inviting the panelist of the session, Dr. B. Chandrasekhar from ISB. Inviting our next panelist, Mr. Anand Srivas. I suppose he's going to be joining us. We'll send the message to him. Let me invite our next panelist, Professor Tapash Kumar Ganguly. Professor Tapash Kumar Ganguly, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the senior faculty member and dean of the Executive Education of National Institute of Construction Management and Research, that is NICMA, Pune. So, Mr. Anand Srivas is going to be joining us, but meanwhile we commence with the session, and I would like to hand over to Dr. P.S.N. Rao for the proceedings of the session. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Can you say that once again? Good
morning!
Yeah, good. I think we had a lovely evening yesterday. I'm sure you all enjoyed yourselves, and we also had a lovely morning dance session, and I'm sure that you're all now energized and refreshed. I think, as has been told to you just now, we are going to now look at the real hard facts of life. The country, as you know, is undergoing a lot of change. We are at the crossroads of change, as it is said. We now have a new stable government at the center. We've just seen the new budget that has been presented very recently. A lot of new policies are going to be unfolded. Welcome, Anand. We've also seen many policy pronouncements that have just been made by the government. I'll quickly reiterate some of these. Some concessions have been given in the recent budget, and those are supposed to put a little bit more money into the pockets of the common man. There has been a lot of talk on these 100 new smart cities. How are these going to happen? Where are these going to happen? Are these going to be greenfield projects? Are these going to be brownfield projects? Are they going to look at the entire city as a whole, or are these going to be small enclaves? A lot of detailing in the policy is yet to be done, but then that is one big arena about which we are talking about. There has also been an announcement made about the real estate investment trusts, REITs, and these, as you are well aware, in the US, they have brought about a major difference in the way in which projects are funded, the way in which small investors get into this big game of real estate. And there have been various other pronouncements, foreign direct investment and so on and so forth, which have been on the anvil. Details are slowly unfolding. Education is another area. Legal issues are another area. We are talking about the Real Estate Regulatory Act, which has been there on the anvil for quite some time now. Many of the state governments have also enacted their own state legislation. All these draft bills are still pending. So we have a lot of new perspectives that are emerging on the horizon. So how are these going to impact the real estate industry? And what's in it for us as the broker community or the realtor community, as we refer to them? I have with me here today, ladies and gentlemen, three interesting gentlemen who are experts in their own areas. We have Dr. Chandrasekhar, who has been an academic all along, spent more than 3 decades, both outside India and within the country. He is just retired from the Indian School of Business, Hindu Center of Real Estate, where he spent a lot of time. Currently, he is stationed in Bangalore and he is running his own consultancy. And then we have Anand Shrivas. He is from the legal background. He is a research associate at the Law University in Gujarat, and he has been constantly working on the various laws that we have in our country and how the legal issues are impacting the industry. And then we also have Professor Dr. Tapash Ganguly from the National Institute of Construction Management and Research, NICMAR for short. NICMAR is basically an industry promoted education institute, and they have been doing a lot of courses in construction management, real estate, and so on and so forth. So I have 3 very illumined panelists with me. I'll first start with Professor Chandrasekhar. Professor Chandra, could you kindly highlight about the real estate investment trust? I'm going to understand that you've already worked in this area earlier. In the Indian context, we all know that the American real estate markets are very different from the Indian real estate markets. So how do you think REITs are going to impact us, and how do you see the policy unfold?
Actually, this is a totally new perspective. I think the REIT that's been introduced and the guidelines given out is going to really bring about some phenomenal change in the real estate industry. And I think we can take a bet on it, and most of us will win it. Because this industry has so far suffered from an ability to raise funds at the appropriate stages and also find good avenues to exit. So I think REIT, actually, the funniest thing is this REIT, we have been working on it for now almost a decade. The regulations have been going back and forth between the industry and the government for close to a decade. And many of us had lost a little heart in it because the platform on which it was being put up and distributed was not at all encouraging. But what is redeeming is the new platform on which it has been put up is extremely solid and good and correct. So at least we know the regulations might keep changing from time to time, but whatever changes happens, it will be only for the better. So from that point of view, we are on a very good lucky wicket going ahead as far as real estate investment trust goes. Now what does REIT do? In simple terms, I'll give you a small story of my own experience. Way back, I think I was a kid. This was at Denver, Colorado in the early 1980s. I remember a couple of us faculties, we got together, and one with a colleague of ours from KPMG who had just resigned from that, and we said, we want to develop a ski club, ski lodge. So we decided we will set up an REIT, find the funds, develop a ski club, and exit. So we did all this feasibility study, planning, everything. Why was I included in this team? I was included because I was an Indian who knew all the doctors in Denver. So the doctors had extra dispensable money to invest much more than others, and Indian doctors had a lot of cash. So I was asked to go and sell the units. And I said, okay, why not? You know? That's how I got my first exposure to REIT, and we did a very successful job of it. We built it, exited it in 2 years' time, collected the money from ground up. So having said this, now let me come back to our regulation. our regulation, one thing missing is only I cannot go and collect the money from you and start building. If I collect 100 rupees from you, I can only use 20 rupees for starting a building. 80 rupees I have to put it on some other building that's making money. Okay? This is a little constraint. But I think sooner or later this will change if we show that we understand what we are going to do. The second item that I want to highlight is where it can be invested. Right now it says commercial properties. Commercial properties which are income generating. Now, it should include, I presume, retail, hospitality, hotels, okay, which is good. That's a fairly large spread. But it doesn't include residential. So, we cannot get excited about the rental market or the affordable housing, as our friend has written. So, hopefully, that will be my second aspiration of this regulations, that it will get extended to the residential market in the coming future. Then I think we will really see truly affordable housing coming. You know? And then the third aspect of it is the fact the regulations are such that these have to be tabled and continuously evaluated, the properties. I will leave this third aspect for a later on discussion, but these three are the highlights I just want to bring about. We can add to it later, but I hope you've got an idea of what the REIT is. And it's a very, very important step. It will change the game in many ways. It will introduce a lot of new players, and it will bring about some element of transparency also. From all these points of view, we need to congratulate SEBI for what it has done and how it has done it.
Thank you, Dr. Chandrasekhar. I think I'll just take a minute to summarize. The way he has very succinctly put it, real estate investment trusts, the regulations have been there for quite some time, but then they have only been concretized now, and a clear way forward is just emerging, number one. And number two, we need to expand the scope of REITs. The major advantage that REITs are going to bring in is that this cash-starved industry, if we may say so, is going to now become flushed with cash. You're going to have a large number of people now putting their monies into this because you're going to get returns, and you're also going to bring in the small investors into this business. Having heard this, now there's another side, another element to this real estate investment trust. It's not just about bringing in the money, but then ultimately you have to make the product. And you need to make the product on time. And ultimately you have to deliver, because once the product is made, the product starts yielding income on a regular basis. And that's how the dividends are going to reach the investors. So that's where I would like to bring in Professor Taposh Ganguly, who is a project management expert at the NICMAR. You need to actually go out there and build. And I'll just give you an example of what's happening in the Delhi NCR, from where I belong, which is perhaps the largest real estate market today in this country. You have thousands and thousands of projects all over the place. People have put in their hard-earned money into these projects. Then most of these projects are not stuck up. The project deliveries are just not happening. And then somewhere down the line, we feel that project management is becoming extremely important. Construction project management, you need to deliver. That delivery is not happening. I want Dr. Ganguly to throw some light on this.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good morning to one and all. This is a wonderful platform, I believe, to talk about my institute and the success or the failure of the projects worldwide, and especially we will concentrate here in India, what is happening, why the projects are not coming up. The ground level story that we know very well, that there is a problem of the land acquisition, there is a problem of the political problem, there is a social problem, there is a economical problem, and there is a what do you call environmental problem. All these problems are there. But when we come across, when we cross all these hurdles, then we reach to the stage of the project where we, from the feasibility to the level of the planning. I think most of the cases our projects fail because that we cannot make the perfect planning. 90% projects we have carried out plenty of research, and the time overrun or the cost overrun is because of the reason that the projects are not planned properly. Most of the builders, most of the developers, they consider that they know very well the planning. They appoint the consultants, but they don't come to the institute like ours, where they can get sometimes the free advices, where they can get sometimes the consultancy services from us, where they can get the hand-holding from us, you know, and which this kind of advantage, they will not get it from a consultant. So therefore, I believe that from the project management point of view, the most important aspect is the planning, that we fail to do the perfect planning for the project, and we do not know what are the ingredients are involved when we are planning for a project. Sometimes we are not balancing between the scope and the deliverables. Sometimes we are not measuring the risk that is there in the project with respect to the aspect of the procurement, or aspect of the design or engineering, or with aspect to the technology, with aspect to the communication. Sometimes communication becomes a big hurdle, so therefore we cannot. Sometimes we have the human resource management, which becomes a serious problem because you don't have the right blend of the team, right blend of the structure, because of which the project fails. Sometimes we have the not understanding about the contracts management. If you know very well that today the net, non-performing assets in India is about 52,000 crores, wherein we have seen that the projects are not moved to a great extent, but fail to achieve the desired result. It is because of the contractual failure of the project, because the client, consultant, and the contractors could not come to a proper agreement by which way they can complete the project in totality. Sometimes we fail to understand about the procurement aspect because we do not know how to manage the materials at the project level, at the construction level. Sometimes we do not know how the way we will be guarding our projects, how the way we will be managing the project site. The site administration control sometimes is a very serious issue for us. So I believe the project management is not that only when you talk about the project, that's all, because the meaning of the project is very wide, and today we just cannot say that. When you as a person, you as a consultant, real estate consultant, when you start a deal and you complete a deal, you find a lot of hurdles. And when you add all the strings together, at the time you say, yes, I have executed a beautiful project. And that's what you talk about the project, and that's what you talk about the project management. But when we talk about the actually executing a dream project into the reality, that's time we find real difficulty, real hurdles. And that is why we, the institute at NICBAR, we try to help all the real estate developers and builders come forward, take our help. We will handhold you, we will support you, we will guide you, we will nurture your project, and at the end, you will find immense benefit out of our institute that you do not know. So therefore, my request to all of you that not only to this institute, but not only to you, but also I would like to speak something about the institute. I take 1 minute further. I am advising to you for your son and daughter. They are coming out now. They want to be the engineers, and after engineering, they would like to find out where they will be going. And NICBAR is the place where we are nurturing the budding engineers. They are either civil or mechanical or electrical or instrumentation, or they are coming from the architecture background, and they are coming here, enjoying the life for 2 years, having the 2-year program of the advanced construction management, project management, real estate management, or the infrastructure management. And after that, they're going to the industry, they're doing extremely well, very successful. And our placement is 100% successful placement for that. Finally, we give them. So that's how we make the project successful. That's how we make the people successful in this world. Thank you,
Dr. Guruli. I think the underlying message that we're trying to convey is that project management is extremely important. Unless you deliver on time, as a realtor, you're sticking your neck out, you're representing the developer, and you're promising to the client that the project is going to be delivered at a particular point in time. And unless you plan your projects properly, unless you execute your projects properly, the delivery will not happen on time. I would like to bring in Anand Shuras at this point in time. Well, project management is certainly very, very important. But then, even if you have good project management in place, we do find projects get delayed for some of the reasons. Because we have a large number of rules and regulations in place. We have approvals, we have environmental clearance, we have whatnot. So I want you to throw some light on this, Mr. Anand. You've been working on the legal side.
First of all, before starting, yesterday we discussed about the role of women in the real estate sector. Real estate sector, you can definitely compare with a grumpy wife. You can always give the real estate sector that status. It's high time that we require that the real estate sector gets a feminine characteristics. Why I'm saying this in India? There's a lot of similarities between the real estate sector and women in India. First of all, it is highly ignored in terms of policies. Same as empowerment of women, it is highly ignored. Secondly, we talk about women in India and real estate sector. Sentiments of both changes time to time on the lighter side. So it's very important that we, as a government policies, we empower real estate sector with the regulations and we facilitate them with regulations. For example, we have this real estate bill which is being passed and land acquisition bill which is being passed. Now, land acquisition bill, for my view, it's a cold conspiracy done by the government, the UPA government, just to halt the development of the NDA government. If you look at the policies or the regulations under the land acquisition bill, you will see that there are a lot of hurdles which are there. Say for example, you are mandatory gonna have SI, which will take a long time, the social impact assessment. Secondly, we have rent control laws, which is also a hurdle because you cannot buy a property and you cannot easily throw out, which are occupying the leasehold property for a long time. So rent control laws are second problem generally when it comes to execution of the projects. After that, we have so many reforms required in the real estate sector. We talked about REITs. Are we going to give some incentives to the REITs? If you talk about REITs, say for example, only partial pass-through structure has been given to REITs. Tax treatment, if you talk about. Globally, there is full-fledged structure or a pass-through structure is given to REITs. So basically, the government has to act as a facilitator, not as a restricting the halting the development and playing politics. Like as I told you, that land acquisition is nothing but UPA government's stand how to halt the development of the NDA government. So we have to move out from the politics. We have to concentrate on the development, and development can happen. Dr. Rao, you know that you very well know that in India there are almost 5,000, 6,000 laws in India, but how many of them are properly implemented? We have so many laws, but they are not implemented. That is the issue. So we, rather than bringing in more regulations, we have to focus on implementation. And if implementations are being done, I'm sure that you will have project delivered on time, you will have buyers happy, and I would like to say that this is the right time for us to discuss, because now the real estate bill, which is being was with the standing committee, now it is being lapsed. Now it will be again placed in place in the winter session. So this is the right time to deliberate with the government, and I would ask Mr. Stoff that his assistance in terms of GNLUs collaborating with NAR, we can certainly do a research on this, and we can find out ways, and then we can be a policy pressure on the government. Being a neutral body, we can always do that. Thank you very much.
Definitely. Thank you, Shrivas. I'll come back to Professor Chandru once again. We'll just do a quick round and then we'll close. You talked about REITs. The thing is that yes, the platform for REITs has been laid, no doubt. But then REITs also requires a lot of analysis. It requires a lot of hard data, and you want to really take it forward. How do you see all that happening?
I don't think REITs will succeed if we didn't have good data and we are not able to value and or predict the income generation capacity. I sometimes joke with my students and I ask them, what do you think of real estate? The prices have gone up in every place in the last 10 years. They said, that's great, that shows a great industry. I said, no, that's only a price index. What about the demand index? Our demand has gone down 40% in the last 10 years as our price has gone up 40%. So we need two indexes, not just price index, we need demand index. Now when I look for indexes in real estate, oh no, I don't see much. There is no effort from any sector. All the consultancy companies make their own small indexes. That's for the clients. And the clients even can't verify it. They can't go tomorrow and say, you guys gave me a wrong advice. Okay? So there is a need for various types of indexes. Demand index, price index, construction index, cost index, indexes towards approvals, indexes towards maintenance. Is talking about project management. I mean, if you're talking a successful REIT, it requires great building maintenance. Okay? If you do not maintain the property, it is not going to give you income. I mean, how are real estate developers smartly moved, at least the good ones, smart ones, from building to today they maintain the building. Okay? They have found ways to do that. So maintenance will become, so the internet, the cost of maintenance, the index cost, because they're going to charge it. The REIT is going to charge it to you as an investor. So data collection is going to be incredibly important. And building indexes with the robust variables inside, not wishy-washy variables, and getting good algorithms. I think some concentrated effort is required. Residex is one that HUTCO puts up. I think NAR contributes data to that.
It's only the residential.
That's only residential, and that's only demand, price more than demand. So we need to think magic bricks types of India. Some of them have approached me and said, look, we are willing to contribute data, can you work? But it's a big effort. Okay? It's not a small effort if you want to do, particularly for a country like India. So think about it. Anybody wants any advice or interest in this area? I'm more than happy to help with you. And I work with all the faculties in this area. But it's going to be a very important area for the future.
Absolutely. I want to bring in Dr. Ganguly here. I do remember Nikmar at one point in time was working on a construction cost index. Would you like to say something about that?
Yes, very
much. Quick point, and then I'll move.
We work closely with the government of India, but it is based upon the project to project, and sometimes we like to see that we are given the task to find out how many projects are running in time, how many projects are delaying, how many projects are finding the difficulty to get going, how many projects are on the way but they are having the hurdles to get going, how many projects are in place but waiting for the government not to start with, because the government has to release the fund, you know, and the government cannot release the fund without understanding what is the fund is required, you know. Suppose sometimes the politicians, they say that, well, I am releasing 20,000 crores of rupees, but whether the money 20,000 crores of rupees come to the actually in the market, no, it doesn't come. It comes based on the recommendation that we give to the government of India, that this is the fund that is required for this current projects, these are the current projects that are running, and for which this much of fund is required. So government understands that what is the cash inflow and what is the cash outflow is required. So this balancing is very important, and so therefore we are the people, those who are helping to the government of India in terms of making them understand how the way the project should be managed, how the way project should be released, and how the way the fund should be released in the process, so that there can be a proper development can come up at all the places at a time, not in one place, not in one state itself. So we are working with the Asian Development Bank, we are working with the World Bank, and from 19th to 23rd in my place in Pune, there are 71 participants are coming from the 29 state governments to participate on a program called the Construction Project Management, where we are going to discuss the same thing, same aspect of the project management, same aspect of the funding matter, related to the power, related to the energy, related to the, not only power, related to the energy, related to the roads, related to the agriculture, related to the urban development. All these 4 areas we are going to talk about in the next 5 days.
Anand, now I would like you to say the last word on this. If you were to pick up out of these thousands of laws that we have in various states, in India we have central laws, we have state laws, but if I were to ask you, which are those 3 major legislation where you want key reforms to happen? Can you pick up 3 of those laws?
First of all, one is that I want to happen is, first of all, we need to give this industry an industry status.
Industry status
first
one, okay.
Then we have to have the single window clearance. That will happen under one umbrella, that is Real Estate Regulation Bill. If we properly demonstrate and we properly deliberate to the government, that is one. Second is Land Acquisition Act, which will halt development for sure. This is the second. And we need land reforms. Say for example, we had computerization of so many. Yeah. In 9 states we had, but there are almost 27 states which are left out, which does not have land records computerization, which will actually have an effect on titles. So we have to see that land titling bill, which is being discussed about, it has to be properly deliberated, so that land titles in India are sorted out.
So that we can reduce.
Yeah, so I think these 3 laws are the major laws.
Excellent, absolutely. And I would also like to mention to you, ladies and gentlemen, almost 20 years ago, the Times Research Foundation, with some people from this city of Kolkata, since we are here in Kolkata today, I thought I should make this point. We undertook a very major exercise with funding from the USAID, wherein we said that let's identify what are all the reforms that are required in the real estate sector, and we have identified a large number of, it's not just for the government to acquire, but even the private real estate developers, private individuals, even if they want to buy in the open market, there are a lot of hurdles. So hopefully, with the new government in place and with the new tax regime that's being unveiled and the new policy regime that's being unveiled, I'm sure that all these reforms are going to happen in the near future. And we as an industry body, as an independent industry body, as a major stakeholder, I'm sure that we can also play a major role as policy advocates, and we can send memoranda to the government saying that these are the kind of reforms that we want, and then we can act as some kind of a lobbying body, and we can see that these things happen. So let me thank all the 3 panelists, Dr. Tapash Ganguly, Professor Chandrasekhar, and Anand Shivas. Thank you so much. I think we have completed the round of applause. The ladies here. Thank you so much.
We have, let me tell you, my coming here is because of the invitation sent by Mr. Sachin Saraf, who is the president sitting here, and because of his request, I'm here. But NAR-India is very quite working with us very closely, and when in the year 2030, in the month of July, Mr. Sharaf called me up and he has come forward with a suggestion that why not we start some program for NAR. So at the moment we have agreed to have the program for the NAR on the 5 areas. In the areas of the soft skill training, real estate marketing and branding, real estate investment, valuation in real estate, and commercial and residential property management. One such kind of program we have already arranged at the Nasik. Second program will be held at Thane. That is what I have been told. In more and more programs will be coming up in association with NAR, and we are definitely lend our full support for this kind of training programs in future, and any other help or support or assistance that is required, please do not hesitate to get back to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for that information also, and expressing our thanks to the session moderator and the panelists. My first request, Mr. Farooq Mahmood, to kindly present the memento, thanking Dr. P.S.N. Rao. Expressing thanks to all of them for helping us understand the new developments, the new policies, the regulations and the formulations that are coming up in the sector. Thank you, sir. May I request Mr. Shailendra Singh to kindly present the memento, thanking Dr. Chandrasekhar, enlightening us more about REITs, the complications also which are there towards it, understanding them. May I now request Mr. Shad Ahmed to kindly present the memento, thanking Mr. Tapas Ganguly. And may I now request Mr. Sachin Shroff to kindly present the memento, thanking Mr. Anand Srivas.